time, so
Okay, there you go.
it's a grave. I've already dug the grave.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, we're live now. It just took ages to actually go live for some reason. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure if we messaged him and we're like, oh yeah, we're doing it today. Did you want to? He probably would have, but we didn't, to be fair. So.
I'll just send him a quick Discord and see if he wants to hop in. He doesn't have to.
It is up to him.
I feel like such an old man navigating Discord, honestly.
Really? I don't find it too bad. I find some bits are a bit hidden, like your video and stuff like that can sometimes be a bit weird. But I think generally, like the layout, like of all the people down the left hand side in your servers and stuff like that, it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's not so bad, but then I don't really like DM anyone, and I was like, where? But I found it. I did it.
Nice.
I pulled it off. Okay, cool. Let's get cracking then.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Hi, ladies and gents. It is the 139th episode of the Lechwich Resume podcast.
Nice.
I'm a bit sleepy. I'm sleepy.
Okay. The heat?
It's been a long week. I mean, the heat hasn't been ideal either. It certainly doesn't help, you know. So I'm going to do my best. I'm probably going to miss some words. I'm probably going to like stutter, maybe stammer, maybe slobber a bit at the mic. So if you're all okay with that, then, you know, welcome to the show. My name is Deck. That's Tim over there.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Hopefully not as sleepy as I am.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm relatively sleepy, but not awful. I've had worse weeks.
Well, that's just fantastic. Well, in that case, you know, it has been a fairly quiet week on the Xbox front. Some CODs. Well, we had a COD drop today, Modern Warfare 3. They just like yesterday said,
oh, that's
the last COD is coming onto Game Pass,
and that's literally
and
it's in. Oh, okay, nice. I had no idea. Sweet.
Yeah, it was rumored for a couple of weeks, and then it just kind of happened. You'd have thought they had some sort of marketing going into that. I mean, it feels like a reasonably big deal because right now it's the latest COD in Game Pass, you know. But anyway, that's something that's happened. GeForce Now has become playable on Xbox web pages, which is kind of interesting, which I've sort of put as, you know, title of this video. And then there's just a couple of other miscellaneous things like you know, the Halo show's been cancelled. There's apparently a cloud tier of Game Pass being considered. So we got us a couple of bits and bobs to go over to tide us over for the week. But as per usual, I figure we just start with some smaller stuff and what we've been playing. Tim, what have you been playing, buddy?
I have this week been mainly playing the Path of the Goddess that just dropped into Games Pass. I believe last Friday. Yes, it was last Friday because I was traveling and I was annoyed I couldn't play it. And I was away like all weekend. So yeah, it dropped in last Friday, and yeah, I've mainly been playing that with sprinkles of Valorant. You know, same old. You know, we play Valorant here and there. But yeah, Path of the Goddess is really good, man. I'm having a really good time with that. I think that's probably one of my favorite games I played this year so far. I definitely think it's like in the top echelon. It's just, I don't know, it's just really good. It all just flows really nicely, and I just love the aesthetic behind it. And yeah, it's just like such a stark difference to anything else I'm playing as well. Like over like Valorant or anything else. It's just so nice to just boot that up and have that sort of half strategy-esque chill game I can play on like my living room TV. So
It's so
um,
nice to finally play a Japanese game.
right, it's been so long. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, and
I know what you mean.
it seems to have hit the market quite nicely as well. I think generally it's being quite well received. I think last time I checked, I don't know if you want to like pull it up now, but I think last time I
81 right
checked,
now.
yeah, I was going to say 81. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, so I mean, right now I'm probably definitely sitting at like, yeah, at least an 8, if not a little bit higher. Because there's just quite a lot to it as well. Like, even though I'm like 5, 6 stages into the game, I'm still just like unlocking new like villager roles and unlocking new like game mechanics and stuff like that. And um, I feel like they do quite a good job at just shaking up the formula so it doesn't get stale. Because you know when you play XCOM and you drop into a mission, and a lot of them can feel quite samey sometimes. You know, like you can
Hmm.
feel like you kind of just get lost in the source a little bit, and everything kind of blends into one. With this one, like the stages like act different as well. Like I remember last night I was playing it, and there was like a stage um that was like pitch black, and you had to like light lanterns around it to like light up the map as you progressed. And if you didn't have a light
Hmm.
source, your villagers couldn't see the monsters and wouldn't attack. So you needed to like actively always have like a light source and stuff. It was just quite cool.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's good. Having a good time with it. It's a nice game.
That is great. Yeah, that's I mean, and obviously it's been a really good couple of weeks really for Game Pass. I mean, arguably one of the better weeks we've had in the last couple of years. And we're going to come around to this in a little bit, but Stephen Totillo over at GameFile wrote like a really nice kind of article about Game Pass with this kind of slew of like nice quality games we've had, but also contrasted up against the price hikes, and how people feel about that. So yeah, it's just a really nice thing to see that do well. It's on my playlist as well. Um,
Mm.
between that, I'm trying to think of what the lineup was. It was that Path of the Goddess, Neon White, Dungeons of Hinterberg, Flintlock.
Dragon's Dogma,
Um,
surely.
no, I just mean on Game Pass.
Oh, sorry.
Um, COD obviously just got shadow dropped, and there's something else I'm missing as well. Maybe Still Wakes the Deep. That did quite well. I feel like there's something else I'm missing as well, but nonetheless, it's kind of like quite a slew of games that are somewhere between the 70 to 85 range. Which is really pretty nice. Um, of them as well. So yeah, good. I'm glad to hear it's still tickling your pickle because
Mm.
I'm quite excited for that too.
I think you quite like it, to be honest. I think it's actually, I think you'll quite like the sort of in-depth mechanics of like just, you know, like placing your villagers and setting up the map, and like it all. It's one of those games where it's just very satisfying once you have like a nice flow to it, and you can kind of just sit back and just watch as like the waves of enemies come into like your really well placed villagers, and it almost feels like a tower defense game, you know, when you got it like set up really well, and you don't actually have to get involved that much. So yeah, it's quite, yeah, it's just quite satisfying. I just think it's really well put together, and I just think Capcom are just untouchable right now, man. Like I feel like they are just insane with everything they do. Um, they just hit. I feel like you're just safe buying Capcom games at the moment, no matter what it is.
Yeah, that's why I bought Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, they're just kind of popping off. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Good. That's great news. Um, anything else from you?
That is no, that's it. That's everything I've kind of been playing. Um, so yeah.
Great. Well, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my original Kishi broke. Right, it just stopped working,
Oh,
so I was pretty annoyed about that. Yeah. So I got rest in peace. So I got, for Prime Day, I got myself the Kishi 2, which you can't see because of
oh
the
yeah.
fucking back
Blur.
blurring going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got the backbone. What was it? Backbone what?
No, it's just the Kishi 2. It's just the second version.
Oh, okay,
um,
okay, I see. Yeah,
which is man, it's a big upgrade. Like
looks
it's
identical to
way
mine.
better. Yeah, it's definitely Backbone inspired for sure. With the hard back, because like the first one just had like an elastic strap, and it made the whole thing feel a bit flimsy around your phone, depending on like the size of the phone. Whereas this feels really solid. I still have
Mm,
to take off my case, which is a bit annoying, but it's no big deal. And the buttons are just really clicky. There's like extra buttons at the top that you can map
yeah,
to whatever you want, which is really nice. Yeah, I've just used it a few times. It's just been really good. So shout out to Razer and their Kishi line. That's super cool. Super duper
nice.
cool.
Getting value out of that Games Pass Ultimate subscription. Good work, man.
God, I love Game Pass Ultimate. I hope they keep rising the price of that shit.
Whoa, what? Why do you want the
I'm
money?
not going to
What
feel
are you
happy
doing?
until, yeah,
Until
I
I
want
feel
it.
like I pay what I feel like it's worth. And to me, that's an
Yes,
infinite amount.
yes. I couldn't live with myself if I continue to pay this amount. I'm going to need to pay more. Can I donate to Microsoft anywhere?
Yeah, I need to. I feel like it's too good a value for money. It's unfair.
Someone's got to be suffering, and I just won't have that. And that I feel like that's my responsibility.
God.
Um, so yeah, as a quick shout out to that. If you've been following the show, you know I've been playing Disco Elysium as well. For the final cut,
Oh
and I
God.
finished that now. I finished that last week, and I don't have anything extra to add really than what I've already said. Instant classic, 10 out of 10, maybe a top 10 game of all time.
I read your fucking tweets
Stunning.
about that game, and I was literally just like,
Did you like it?
They were like existential, dude. You were like having
I
like
mean,
an
that's what.
epiphany as you wrote those tweets about that game. It was mental.
Yeah, I mean, when it hits, man, when it hits, you gotta do the thing.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it so much. It's crazy. I don't think I've ever reviewed a game like that. But nice.
It's probably up there with sort of like the Outer Wilds, Outer Wilds.
You even did that in your tweet. You wrote Outer Worlds instead of Wilds.
Yeah, yeah, that one. Um, it's probably up there in terms of like a smaller game having such a big impact, and just how good I think it is. But like there's a whole history and thing around the studio now, unfortunately, because like there was a load of legal stuff that happened. Um, so I don't know if they do manage to do a sequel or a second game. I don't know if it will quite capture the magic of that one. So it feels like it might end up being a bit of a one and done thing.
Mm,
But I'm really glad I played it. It's yeah, for a game that really didn't feel like it was going to be for me on the surface. It was just fucking sensational. It was
mm,
just amazing. It was so good.
nice, nice
Um,
man.
and then after that, I went on to Neon White, which was a Game Pass drop for us. And that's been a good time as well, which is a very sharp left turn from what Disco Elysium is, from a point and click game to this kind of, weeby, like
Weeby.
leaderboard chasing. Yeah, it's weeby. I don't even know what you'd call it. It's not like a boss rush. I guess it's like time trial, first person shooter with cards. um,
Nice.
but it's good, man. Yeah, I think it's good. I hate everything about the dialogue and the story, which is just it's so funny coming off the back of Disco Elysium. I'm like, I don't get. I'm proper skipping past all the dialogue. I tried for like the first couple of levels, and there's so much of it as well. Like this is one of those games where they really needlessly padded out like a very excellent core loop of the game. Like the actual game is really fun, and they're like, let's make it, where there's loads of different characters. There's
Mm,
neon red, there's neon yellow, there's neon purple, and there's a
yo.
violet, I think. And you're going to make relationships with them, and you're going to talk to them,
It's a
and you're going to
JRPG.
learn more about them. And it's like,
That's the
I could
Japanese
not give a
element.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like not good, and like there's not even like there's not even like a gameplay like progression for doing so. Like it just unlocks more dialogue and the occasional level that you do, and then that level opens a bit more dialogue, and it's like I'm not interested in any of this. So that's a shame. I don't think they needed to really do any of that, but the actual game itself is great. It's a really good time. Like, it gives you different medals based on your like on your performance, and then there's like a gift in each level which you can give to the characters. Uh, and in every single level I've done so far, I think I've done about 40, no, maybe like 35. I've gotten like platinum on all of them and gotten the gift on every level. They're like short enough where it's really rewarding, where you can like get gold or silver on your first try, then go for plat on your next few tries, and then on your final try, you're just searching for the gift. Like there's no real time element; you're just kind of searching for it.
Yeah.
And it never takes too long to do that with each level. Like it always feels fun, like because the more you try, the game starts giving you hints of like where to go to like get better times. So it never feels like it takes too long or you're guessing for too long to like get a good score and then move on to the next one. But it feels really good. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm probably going to see that one through to the end.
Nice.
But I'd recommend it if anybody is like a speed or like an action junkie out there. It definitely has that nice flavor to it. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he hasn't already played it, to be honest.
I can't recall he has, but maybe he has. I don't know, but I don't think so. There's a part of me that's thinking no, but yeah. But yeah, it's definitely on my list too. So I'm excited. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good. Just skip the cutscenes. Well, you can't actually. You've got to full blind through them. You can't skip.
Mate, wait till you never play a Persona game. I'm pretty sure all the dialogue in Persona could. You haven't played a Persona game?
Yeah, I've played maybe 10 hours of Persona 5.
Oh, okay. All right. What did you think of the dialogue in that? Because the dialogue in those games, you could literally make a book like as thick as a Bible, like as well as the game.
I don't mind if there's a lot of dialogue. I just came out of Disco Elysium, which is a point and click game. I don't mind. It's just that it was in and white. It's like bad. It's bad. It's not
to be
interesting.
fair, I think it's quite bad in Persona as well. I mean, some of it's fine, but some of it's also just like, hey, did you go to math today? Teacher was kind of weird, and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then they get all blushy, and then it's just like 5 more fucking texts of that, and it's just like, okay, yeah, like, but some of it is good. Don't get me wrong, but like, I'd say a good in my Persona 3 playthrough, I'd say like a good 40% of the total dialogue was just I didn't need it in my life. It was just not needed at all.
I mean, it's definitely like one of the points that like keeps me away from the Persona games. Like as much as I can respect how much people like it. And there's a lot I liked about the opening 10 hours. I just kind of lost steam. I'd like to give it another try. I just find the whole setting quite hard to get into. Like it doesn't interest me that much. The whole
high school.
Well,
have I got something for you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you heard of the upcoming game from the ex-Persona developers? Metaphor ReFantazio. That is very much on my radar for this year. That's one of my most anticipated games because that takes everything that is Persona and makes it into a fucking cool, like, fantasy-driven world with like magic. It just rips out all that high school shit, and I'm actually really excited for it. I think it looks really good. I'm buzzed.
Cool.
So give that a go if you don't like the setting of Persona. Because I'm kind of with you. I'm not like massive on the whole high school situation.
The whole high school sitch.
Yeah. I want to go back
kind of over teenagers.
Yeah. Kinda. Not fully. Whoa, okay. All right. Maybe I shouldn't say that out live.
Is it? I'm pretty sure it was Game Pass, isn't it? Metaphor ReFantazio.
No, I think Xbox have like some kind of marketing rights to it or something.
They premiered it, yeah.
But I don't think, which is pretty crazy actually, because I think it's definitely not Games Pass. I remember because I've got it on my wish list to buy. But like, it's kind of crazy to think that that is being kind of like marketed and branded by Xbox or associated with Xbox, so to speak. And so's the Visions of Mana, like 2 like massive JRPGs coming out this year, like really big titles. Yeah, that's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Right, it shows the progress they've made in Japan. They've been trying.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
sure.
Mm.
It's it does make the question, because I was thinking about this the other day with Metaphor Fantasia of like, if this was the other way around and Microsoft were adopting like a Sony approach to their strategy, they would just lock Metaphor Fantasia down.
Buy it,
They would
just buy
money out that shit for
and just buy the
years.
studio as well, because I don't think it's like a massive studio. It might be relatively big, but I know it's made up of a lot of ex-Atlas devs and stuff, which clearly stole some code on their way out. But it's
swiped it
literally like a splitting image of Persona, which is fine. But like, you just money had that, and just buy the studio or just buy the IP. Yeah, for sure. I would absolutely have done that if I was Xbox, but maybe that wasn't really on the table for him.
No, well, I doubt the studio would have gone for it, but I guess there's only so much you're willing to say no when there's that much money being thrown at you, But it's part of the reason Xbox has stopped doing it. It's not feasible for them to pay such big amounts to sell it to a smaller audience. They have to pay bigger amounts and probably make a smaller return on investment. But feasibly, if they chose the right game, it really could strong arm a lot of the audience onto the platform. But they're beyond obviously just the platform of Xbox now anyway, if it's gonna be on PC regardless. So but
True.
yeah, it's just an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I've just seen something really weird on my timeline, and I can't not mention this. Michael Bay is directing a Skibidi toilet film.
There's no way. That's gotta be fucking
Is that
fake,
true?
dude. No, Skibidi Toilet can't make a fucking movie.
Are you sure? There is like 160 Skibidi toilet videos. There's like a whole lore and a universe to Skibidi toilet.
I would be so surprised in humanity if Michael Bay was actually directing a Skibidi Toilet movie. I mean, just imagine that being advertised and being in the cinema. Dad, what's Skibidi Toilet? I don't know, son. I ain't got a Scooby. Let's watch it. Nah, it's dumb. It's not happening.
Dad, I want to go see Skibidi Toilet. Son, no.
What the fuck is even that? So that fucking meme. That guy.
Yeah.
But no.
Skibidi Toilet. Oh god, I clicked on it by accident and it scared me. I don't the thing that goes viral. I just don't understand it.
The stuff that goes viral? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Deck, have you seen some of the shit you send me at fucking like 3 a.m.?
in a toilet. Yeah, but I have excellent taste.
Shall I play that Cooming video?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking
what Cooming video, Tim? It's kind of weird, bro.
Oh god, now I seem like the weirdo. No. This isn't how this goes.
Man. Right, swiftly moving on from Michael Bay directing a Skibidi toilet. I'll tell you what, while we're on the topic, let's quickly zip over to our TV stories, which is on the notes down at number 4 and 5. So firstly, Fallout has gotten 17 Emmy nominations. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And those guys over there, Jonathan Nolan and the like, Jono. Yeah, it's pretty good. And Phil Spencer gave them a retweet, thumbs up, a dad thumbs up, and said, thumbs up to the cast, crew, and everyone at Kilter Films.
Which means a lot more than the 17 Emmy nominations, let's be real.
Absolutely.
Get a daddy thumbs up retweet from fucking Phil Spencer. Thick daddy Spencer.
Yeah, has hardly said a word since closing 4 studios, but this pops up and he's like, thumbs up.
Yeah, that's a huge thumbs up. You guys aren't getting axed.
Yeah, you will survive 1 more year.
Yeah, it's. I'm not surprised though. It was a very good show. Like yeah, like kudos to the cast and crew for that. I think they absolutely smashed that, and I'm glad to hear it's renewed for a season 2, like instantly as well. So
coming on pretty well, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin, Tim, Halo TV show has been dropped by Paramount.
Sad face.
You might notice that the particular tweet that I've got, like screenshot here on the notes, is from Jeff Keighley, and like, you know, that man was straight on this. And I love that his you know, his profile picture of Jeff Keighley as well. If you know, you know, he's like, you know, he's like mouth agape and like smile laughing. And it's just there, he's just there in the corner next to the Halo series is cancelled.
Yeah.
Man was straight on that. But you know, I don't really know how season 2 performed. I know how season 1 did because it did okay considering the reviews, I think, and it was Paramount's like first big show, I think. And so for them it did quite well, but you can never tell with the numbers, you know, these companies put out, you know, it's our biggest show ever, and it's like their 5th show that they have on the platform.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything if we don't know how much the show costs or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the first probably drew in a little bit of buzz, and they were probably quite happy with the numbers it pulled in, just because of the time and place it came out, right? Even though it didn't review very well, but then I think people obviously got burned by that season, and it didn't turn out to be that great, so they just didn't come back for season 2. Like, even though season 2 was, you know, from what I hear from reviewers and just the general public, just quite a bit better. I just don't think it just generated the buzz because there's so much out there for TV and movies and stuff like that at the moment that if something's burned you once, you just drop it. Like, I know I would for things like this. So
I didn't bother watching season 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go. Prime example sitting right here.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I don't really know what to say about this. You know, it's like the continued difficulty they're having managing Halo as an IP. And it was a weird show, man. It was fucking weird. I mean, you know, season 1 was like, I didn't think it was dire, but I mean, like you said, the market's saturated. You're only going to get like your core audience, your Halo fans who are watching it, and even then the show isn't really made for the core audience because they decided to go in like a separate timeline sort of thing. So it just it wasn't really for anyone. It was fine. I'd give it like a 6. You know, it had some redeeming qualities for sure, like some of the action and the choreography, and at times even the music was quite good, even though people were quite critical of that because they didn't like directly use any of the game's music. They did sample it at times. But some of the plot elements in the first season were just like irredeemable, and I think that's really the problem the second season had, is that they couldn't write themselves out of the stuff they'd already written into season 1. Like the ending was just so fucking bizarre. Like, spoilers, Chief dies, he dies, and the Cortana controlled suits moves his limp body around, and the show ends with him like looking around but like dead inside the
being
suit.
Puppeted.
Being puppeted, that's right. And we were all like, okay, so is this how they're gonna like introduce, you know, like a more game synonymous Chief? No, they retconned it in season 2. He was fine.
He had a little faint spell. His blood sugar was low, so Cortana took control.
Panic attack, yeah.
God.
So it was just weird, and then he boned fucking the leader of the Covenant, so that happened as well.
Sick. In
Master
season 1,
Cheeks, that's what they call him. Huh? In season 1, yeah.
Sweet. Might tune into that episode.
Yeah. Don't. Definitely don't.
Okay.
And there's just like times as well where like the writing of Chief just felt really weird, where it was like he was just kind of mean at times. It was like, why?
And he's not really a mean
Chief's not.
person, is he? Yeah.
No, he's not.
He either
He's
says
not at
nothing
all.
or he saves the day. Like he's
Yeah.
not really a dick. Yeah.
Well, like one of the things I think which like gives the character an emotional punch is like given that it's like a military sci-fi show, is like how much he cares about like the military. Like he really carries a lot of guilt and there's a lot of weight to his actions when like fellow Spartans die because he knows what they go through, and he, you know, even Marines and ODSTs and everything. And that for the
Yeah.
most part, that just wasn't really present here. Like they just tried writing him from the ground up as something a bit different, and yeah, he's just kind of was mean at times. And I was like, who is this guy? I don't really know. I don't even know who this dude is. It's just Pablo Schreier. It's just Pablo Schreier.
That's it. Yeah. It's not actually Chief. They just wreck on it. That wasn't Chief the whole time.
Yeah. Damn. There's just a different show.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck, just get a big green suit and we'll call it Halo.
Yeah. Doesn't surprise me. It's been cancelled. So.
No, it's not surprising. I suppose the second part of the question is like, what like do we like are we rooting for another show here? Like what's the deal? Like because you know the Halo audience is, and the Halo audience are just saying good, thank God. Fucking do it again. Don't bother looking for another publisher, just do it again. If you're going to do it, you know, what do you think?
Give me a Halo. Give me a Halo animated. Give me an anime Halo. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I guarantee that's going to happen.
Like that would be kind of sick, like a Edge Runners esque or like a Castlevania esque. I know Devil May Cry are doing that. Netflix just announced that Devil May Cry are doing coming back with an anime. There was an anime way back when for Devil May Cry, but people are like so hyped for it. I watched the trailer and I was like immediately like, oh yeah. Like I'm gonna watch this. And it was just like a little teaser. It was like a 30-second teaser. But yeah, I feel like a really cool Halo anime could like fucking slap. Like I don't think it needs to be live action, and I think that it could look really, because Halo's a very bright game. It's a very bright universe. They like to use lots of vibrant colors for all their weapons and enemies and stuff like that, and I feel like that could translate really well to anime.
I could see that. And I guess like it's more in terms of the style. Because the thing is, like the seasons that they did actually looked really good. Like they did a great job with all the props and like the armors. They all look great. But it's just like what they decided to focus on, and I just feel like they really did. The original trilogy of Halo aren't goated because of their story. To be honest, like that's not really,
No.
why. I mean, like you know, they're good. You know, I like them less than most people do, but like I recognize it, I see it. I think they're fun. They're really well designed campaigns with some fun. You know, like campaigns. Yeah, it's pretty well written and it introduces the lore and yada yada yada. But it's not like in Halo Combat Evolved, like nothing really happens. You know, not much happens. It's just kind of there's Covenant and Flood exists, and kind of that's it. Shit happens in between. The captain dies. What's his name? Captain Keyes. Stupid fucking name, anyway. He's
too
dead.
Many, yeah, he had too many keys. Yeah, he did.
Exactly. Too many keys. God damn it. So, like, I just feel like they could have really, and I keep saying this about Halo. Like, I'd be just really interested to see them flesh the universe out. Like, I just feel like that's the next step. Put Chief on ice for a little bit while you figure that shit out. Write about something else in the universe. Get Trigger to do it. You know, the studio that made Cyberpunk.
Well, you think they should do like an offshoot, like an ODST or like a Reach kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or like even like we said with the hunters or whatever they're called, that hunter squad. What are they called?
Oh, the headhunters. Yeah.
Headhunters. Yeah, something like that could be kind of cool. Give me a meal. Give me an Emil fucking series.
An Emil series.
Yeah, I mean they're all just Reach characters. It's just Reach, I guess.
Just asking for Reach 2.
Reach would be cool though. Reach would be sick. I feel like that could translate quite well. It's
Halo
more
grab.
grounded. Halo what? Grab?
Grab, yeah.
Oh,
Halo
instead of
reach, and then
reach.
Halo grab.
God's sake.
Halo stretch.
God. No. Wasn't a fan of that. But yeah, no, it's probably not a bad idea for a direction for them to take it. Yeah. I kind of agree. Yeah, there's no need, you don't need to have Chief. Yeah, there's plenty to tell within the Halo universe, and I feel like that relieves a lot of pressure as well, a little bit, because I feel like people just are too precious of Chief. So yeah, just cryo freeze the man and go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's not like they even, the story was pretty good in Infinite, to be honest, and I'd be happy if they just did a continuation of that. But like, they really need to think it through, like not just the next step. Like they need to reboot the whole thing. Like what's happening next with the universe. But what we're doing for the next 10 years of Halo, like that's what I think they need to really think about and just have a cohesive, idea of what's going next. And it's felt, that hasn't been the case really for a while, considering, the shifts of from Halo 4 to Halo 5 to Infinite, and then, the show, and they all just feel like completely disconnected things.
Yeah.
So, the next mainline entry, I'd be happy for them to just put on ice a bit and just like focus on telling something else in the universe. I don't know who they want to give that to, but I would be really interested in that. And then, yeah, then maybe they could do a show to sort of get some excitement for that, or some buzz for that. So, yeah, that's where I kind of stand on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I have to admit, yeah, good idea.
Okay. Let's come back to our sort of mini stories then very quickly. It just felt like a good time to jump over to the TV shows. We got a Blades dynamic background, dude. Like on the 360 Blades UI. We got a dynamic background with that.
What do you mean by blades?
You don't know what I'm talking about? Oh man.
I don't
What
think
are
I
we gonna do
do.
with
I
you?
mean, I probably do. I just don't know the like. I'm not I'm not picturing it in my brain from the word blades.
It's like the UI on the 360 when it first launched, when it had like the side panels on the left and the right side of the screen, and it was like
Yeah.
silver, and you'd like go over to the next screen.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
probably just Google it, like go on Google Images, and that'll probably pull it up.
Okay.
A lot of people are really protective, like very very nostalgic about that UI. It personally, like for me, it never really did that much for me, but I know a lot of people really love it. So I know a lot of people will be having that dynamic background on, even though it looks a little bit like nothing interesting happens. It might even just be static. I'm not even sure.
I'll check it out. Which is weird because literally the other day I checked out the dynamic backgrounds and that wasn't there because I changed up my one upstairs and chose that cool like purple space one with like the little ship that goes across the screen. Chose that one.
There's a what? What is that, a game, or is that just a
No,
thing?
I don't know. It just looked cool.
Okay, cool.
It's like a really cool like purple like galaxy like background, and then there's like a little ship that just slowly drives across your screen from left to right. Looks really cool, man. You
Wow,
should use
yeah,
it.
that does. That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've changed it. You have, because you've got that option now where you can have a dynamic background, but also have it show game art, like when you're hovering over a particular game. And I really like
Yeah.
that option. I'd highly recommend it. And then if there isn't, if you're not looking at a game, it will just put on the dynamic background by default.
Nice.
Yeah, I've just posted a picture in the Discord chat if you wanted to see
Yeah, I think
what I
I
was
know.
talking
I think
about
I know
with
what you're talking
the
about.
blades.
Yeah, I know what you
Okay.
mean.
Cool. I also wanted to quickly talk about the First Descendant. Like, I'm a bit confused by this. I'm perplexed.
Okay.
I am perplexed by this. It's like that new looter shooter, isn't it? And it's free to play, and it looks really pretty. But then it came out and it scored like 53 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
It's something really low. I don't have the score right in front of me right now. However, You then have a look over on the Xbox Most Played store, on the Xbox Most Played page, and it is currently the 11th most played game on Xbox. And I've seen my friends playing it. Like I see my friends, like a lot of people playing it. I'm seeing a lot of engagement online about it. I'm a bit confused. What's going on? Is it not as bad as what the critics are saying, or is it just that it's like a new free-to-play looter shooter? You know, we don't get many of them, to be honest. You know, a big budget one, a pretty looking one. I don't know, because that's not a bad performance. It's above Destiny, it's above Rocket League, it's above Overwatch and GTA Online. It's one below Apex and two below Elden Ring, just for context.
Uh, yeah, I think it's probably just an element of, like you said, we just don't really see games like this that often in terms of its budget and scale. And I also think that it's very Warframe-esque, and I feel like there hasn't been a game that's attempted to dethrone Warframe or do something similar to Warframe and like kind of combine it with like the likes of Destiny or something like that for a long time. And I feel like probably a lot of people were just kind of looking for something new that love Warframe, looking for something new that love Destiny, and then they're willing to settle for something that is like kind of just average or below. Plus, I also kind of think these games actually translate quite well to users more than reviewers, because they're always a bit mind-numbing. They're always a bit grindy, but they're kind of fun to play with friends, and they're very easy to play. So I think that they don't review very well, but I think actually to the user and the person who likes these kind of games, it's probably actually not that bad, I think. Is my guess. Plus ass and titties.
So, you know,
have you seen that bunny character?
that as well.
It's
No,
insane.
I haven't.
It's ridiculous. It's like Stellar Blade levels of ass. So, like, do it, man. Just type First Descendant bunny. Just do it. Like, seriously.
First Descendant bunny. Okay, I've gone into the First Descendant wiki. Oh, right. I see. It's starting to check out. It's starting to make sense.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just one of those interesting ones. I mean, I wonder if it'll stick around. I don't know, but this has certainly made a bigger splash than what I thought it would make, considering the reviews were all kind of shite. Like the even ignoring the score on Open Critic, you know, the recommended bit that's next to the score is only 12%.
Oh, really?
Only 12% of critics recommend the First Descendant. Yet it's 11th on the Xbox store.
Yeah. I think Steam numbers are kind of high as well. Last I checked, it's actually not that bad. Yeah. So, yeah, I can imagine it not being awful. I bet if we hopped on it, like all as a group, and just gave it a little bit of a go, had a few beers or something like that, that is that kind of game. I think we probably actually think it's not half bad.
With it for a weekend.
Yeah, but then I also think it could hook you in a weekend as well. That's the thing. Like, you can have fun with it in a weekend, but like it's the sort of game that obviously keeps you coming back, or they want to keep you coming back. It's like a chore game, isn't it? Like so yeah, it's just whether or not they can hook you. And obviously they have, for a large majority of players. They've managed to just sink their teeth in a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. Because from what I can tell, the game came out on the 30th of June. You know, so we're looking at coming up to its month. Yeah, exactly. So it's not like it's just been a couple of days. Like it's sustained 11th on the Xbox store for a month. I don't know about Steam numbers and things like that, but I suspect it's fairly reflective of those numbers, and on, you know, PSN as well. So I just noticed it today. I noticed a lot of people were playing it on my friends list, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I thought this game sucked, but I think, you know, I think it's appealed to more casual gamers more than anything else. You know, who don't obsess over Open Critic numbers.
Plus, it's free, right? Like,
It's
barrier to
very
entry
exactly. Yeah, it's
is
just.
literally nothing.
Mm. Speaking of non-free to play games, free to play games, not free to play games. Um, it's time to have the Concord conversation.
Yeah.
Everyone else has got to have the Concord conversation, but we haven't. It's it didn't do so hot in its was it closed beta or was it open beta?
Both.
Can't
It's
remember.
it
They
had
did
a
both.
closed one first, and it's now in open, and I think it's still doing garbage. But yeah,
Yeah, on Steam, I think it peaked at like 2,000 players, didn't it, or something during the open beta. It really wasn't much. It was shockingly low on Steam actually, um, which was really rough. Did you have any thoughts on that? Because I know a lot of people have been having thoughts on Concord. I've already said my piece. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a decent amount to say, but nothing that you probably haven't heard a million times from other people. But even when this thing got showed off, I genuinely just thought it looked kind of washed. I thought it looked kind of uninspired. I really just didn't like the look of it. I didn't like the tone it was particularly going for. I thought it was a bit copycat of Guardians. You know, some people call it, Wish Guardians. Um, and I just thought it was kind of like just another team hero shooter that the market didn't particularly need. And if you are going into a market like that, you got to compete with the big dogs, and it's not even doing that for an entry.
Well, IGN says it's going to. So
Well, I don't think it will. Like, I think whatever. Like, you keep saying it on Twitter as well. Fine, the scores might be high. It might get an 80 on OpenCritic, but I still think this game will be dead in like a year. I think it's gonna have a really rough launch. I don't think it's gonna get the player base. I think they're gonna just slowly skeleton staff the game and it'll be gone before you know it. I just don't think it has the buzz. I just don't think it has the legs to be a live service game. You know, you're charging people £40 just to fucking get in, and then you're charging them skins and battle passes and all that for a game they can get better quality, or arguably better quality for free somewhere else. So, with a more established player base, you'd have to wait for games and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, man. I've watched plenty of gameplay on it as well, and plenty of people talking about it, and I don't even think the gameplay interests me. It's like they went for like Destiny, but they made it even slower. It's too slow. It's so floaty, and the TTK is ridiculous. Like, it takes like a clip and a half of a weapon to kill someone, and it just looks weird to me, man. Like, I really, from the get-go, I had a feeling this game would not generate buzz and it would be really clunky, and it seems to be fulfilling that prophecy.
well, I mean that's the popular opinion. Yeah, I mean,
I
I will
said at the
agree.
moment we
It
saw the
looks like
trailer,
it's
like legit. We all watched the trailer live, and I literally said that.
yeah. And those original trailers had like an upheaval of downvotes.
Yeah.
It's just or dislikes or whatever on YouTube. I guess like I'm just being consistent really. Like I still think it looks pretty good. Like whenever I see the gameplay, I think it looks pretty enjoyable. And I know if this was an Xbox game, I'd be saying the same thing. I'm generally just a bit confused by like the market's reaction to um like shooters in general. Like the market always reacts really like weirdly and um just very like uh down on any like new IP shooters really. Like it happened with Helldivers for a long time until that popped off. That's obviously an outlier. That's not going to be the case here because it kind of occupied its own niche in terms of like a genre. But even that's kind of fizzled out by now. I think, yeah, I will say, yeah, I don't think it looks like it's going to be a particularly good solo experience because the time to kill looks really long. Obviously, neither of us have played it, but I do still think it looks fun. I'm only saying that because when I watch it, I think if I play this with my friends, this looks like a good time. It looks really pretty. It looks like it plays well. I quite like the look of the classes. I quite like the design. that's just kind of where I sit on it. And like I said, I know if this was coming out onto like day one Game Pass, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm going to give this a go. Obviously, that's not the case, and it's $40 up front. But we have got like a bit of an addition to that story that I think just aired like just slightly before the show. So we'll come on to that in just a minute. Which was about them. They were talking about like monetization and how they're handling that. So I just want to be clear. Like, do you? I do think the game's gonna review really well because and the reason we're talking about this is because it's quite rare for Sony to miss, to be honest, and this is one of their big tent poles for the year. So I think it's fair to say this is it's quite newsworthy. And it's quite I put out a tweet earlier. What was it about I've got my Concord drafts ready to go. PlayStation's still unable to make a decent PvP multiplayer game. Sad. PlayStation's still unable to make a good first-person shooter. Sad. And then the third one, Concord has been held back by the Series S. A thread.
I like that. That's funny.
So, I in terms of quality, I still think it's going to review pretty well. I still think it's going to review around an 8 total, around an 80. And also we don't know the PSN count, which I think is going to be the primary audience for this game anyway. We'll have to wait and see. But like, am I right in understanding that you think like what the game's going to get taken offline in a year's time? Like what level of failure are you expecting here?
I don't think take it offline because it's pretty drastic. It's a drastic failure for something to literally shut down their servers. Like even some games that are garbage, they still keep a couple servers running. So no, it's not going to be completely shut down. But I just think it's going to be real like skeleton staffed, and I think just put on the back burner in a year's time. Sure. Yeah, and player counts obviously just dwindling as well, pretty much non-existent. But I'm not against what you're saying. I think it probably could maybe scrape an 8 on OpenCritic as well. But I just think, reviews aside, I just don't think people are playing this. I don't know. It almost comes off a little pretentious. I don't know, man. Like, just there's just something about like the characters and the paid entry fee to this market where everything else is free and stuff like that. It's coming off as like this fucking like pretentious ass game. That they're trying to make out that they're more premium than the others, and I think it's kind of blowing up in their face. Because I really don't think this would be getting the reception it is now if it wasn't charging that entry fee. It was a very weird choice to do that, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know, from what I've heard, like game modes wise and the way they're handling like the ranked modes, it's just really weird. Have you seen that? Like, it's like one death, obviously you're out for the round. If you win a round with characters, it locks that character, so you don't get to play that character for the entirety of the rest of the match.
But there are quite a few game modes out there. There's like 5 or 6 for launch.
But I think that's the only one that they're doing for like ranked or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But at least in the beta, people are saying that's kind of garbage. But yeah, I just think it's not going to be a success. I don't think it's going to be a drastic laugh out loud failure, but I don't think it's going to succeed.
Would you say that you're expecting a bleeding edge comparable failure?
Not far off. I think it might do a little
bleeding
bit
edge
better.
Was shut down in like 18 months of its launch.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Just to double check. Yeah, so I find this whole conversation really really interesting. And as I say, like it's just because like it's not an Xbox PlayStation thing to me. Like I not to say that I think that's the case for Tim either. It's just like generally I am quite like excited by hero shooters. Don't get me wrong, I don't think this looks like incredible, but I think it looks pretty good. And but like I mean, has there been an announced hero shooter or an announced PvP game in the last 5 years that hasn't gotten like lots of outrage or mixed reception? I legitimately cannot think of one.
No. Yeah.
At the very least, at least one on the AAA scale,
Hmm.
the
It's a
double A or AAA
it's a
scale.
toxic fan base, yeah, for sure. Like people whinge and moan that their current hero shooter sucks, but then when a new one hits the market, that sucks, and they just carry on playing the one they claim to hate.
Yeah, well, this is it. Yeah.
I think it's quite a toxic fan base, and just quite, yeah. I just think that's just kind of how the users work for that. But yeah, but I don't know, man. This one's just got something else to it. I even feel like design wise and the way it looks, I feel like it kind of looks. I don't know. I don't really like it. There's something about the color palette which seems kind of dull to me a little bit. The characters seemed a bit washed out. A lot of them. There's lots of browns and stuff. I don't think the abilities look so bad, but I don't know. Yeah, there's just
Is it
something.
not just the Guardians of the Galaxy color palette?
Not really. It's not as vibrant. I don't know. Maybe it's
Really?
just because whenever this pops into my head, I think of Overwatch. I think of Marvel Rivals, and those are like super colorful, like popping games, and this one just doesn't
Hmm.
really look that way at all.
Hmm. Marvel Rivals is a pretty interesting thing to bring up here because I'm seeing people talk about that today on Twitter because I believe it went into its beta. I don't know if it's
Open.
closed or open.
Well, it's
Right,
no,
open.
it's you need a no, you need a key to like get in. So I
Yeah,
guess it's considered
okay, so closed.
closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can get keys in loads of ways and stuff like that. I'm actually looking to probably get one. You can do it by like watching people on Twitch and get like key drops and stuff. I was going to do that like in the background tomorrow at work and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I've watched loads of videos on it, and I think it actually looks pretty good. A little bit jank, but pretty decent. It looks fun, I would say. Like when I look at something like Concord, and I look at something like Marvel Rivals, I'm thinking Marvel Rivals looks fun. I don't think Concord looks that fun with how slow and weighted and floaty everything is, and the time to kill is like fucking 3 minutes. And Marvel Rivals is just kind of crazy hectic fun. Like, sure, it might be a little bit more unbalanced and a bit more chaotic, but it's just more fun. At least it gives that impression to me. I think it's generally being received quite well. I think.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, my impression is that it's having the opposite problem of Concord, in that it's done decent numbers. It got 50K on Steam, um, for its closed beta. It's getting like its highs of 50K, so pretty good, for a closed beta. But all of the previews I've seen is like, yeah, it's a worse Overwatch. It's Overwatch but worse.
Yeah.
I think there was a really apt quote from, is it VGC? But it was something along the lines of, at its best, Marvel Rivals is never better or as good as Overwatch. It does like the characters well, and if you want to play Marvel characters in a worse Overwatch, that's what this is.
Mm.
Um, so it's, to me, it's having the opposite problem in that it's getting numbers for now, but a lot of the critical reception seems to be kind of like not all that great. Whereas Concord, a lot of people are like I'm seeing loads of outlets saying either like lukewarm to good, but it's not getting the numbers from on PC from what we see so far. Like IGN is like
Mm.
singing its praises. PC
Window
Gamer
again.
as well. I played 7 hours of Concord this weekend and immediately wanted to go back in, and that's literally ad verbatim reading from the article. So and so I really get the impression that I think a lot of people are really underestimating the amount of word of mouth nut licking that Concord is going to get. And then
Until
that's
they click on it and realize it's 40 quid.
yeah, whether that's earned or unearned, that's not for me to say. But I think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be quite a good reception. And bear in mind, Helldivers also only got a score of like low 80s, and that was enough to get people in the door. But like I said, I do think that's different because it's PVE, not PvP. People react very weirdly to PvP, from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I do think it just comes down to the 40 quid. In all honesty, I even think if this game was on Xbox and we were all looking at it, and you were saying exactly what you're saying now, I think it looks kind of fun. I think we should all play it. I'm still not dropping 40 quid on this. I'm
I'd
not
be
saying
hesitating,
this
yeah.
just because it's a PlayStation game. I'm just not doing that. Whereas
Yeah.
I think Marvel Rivals and whatever company makes that, I forgot the name, but
NetEase?
I think they're probably quite happy if someone calls their game a worse Overwatch, but they do well with the Marvel characters. I think they're probably quite happy with that. Do you really expect a small company like that, or whatever? I think they're quite a small company making their first game of this iteration to really compete on the same quality levels.
I think they're pretty big.
Okay. But it's still their first attempt in this genre or whatever. But do you really expect them to compete with the quality and the polish of Overwatch and Blizzard? Like, no. Like they're never going to do that. But they still made a fun game that does the Marvel characters justice and it's a bit jank, sure, and it's free. Like the game's got a hell of a lot more going for it than Concord, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the interesting thing. Like, I think so to be clear, if they tomorrow came out and said we're making a game free to play, or all PS Plus subscribers can play for free, do you think this game immediately turns into a success?
I don't think it turns into a success, but I think it's going to do a hell of a lot better. Like a hell of a lot better. I think people will just try it. People will give it a go because Overwatch, although they did just release a new character, is still not in people's best books. And people will be looking to shop elsewhere if there's something else that piques their interest in the market that's also, just easy to just give a go. There's no harm in downloading it and trying it, not liking it, whereas there is harm in spending 40 quid on it and then not liking it. So I just think it will just get a lot more reception and a lot more people going for it, and then just mathematically more will stick to the wall if there's more people entering at a free barrier to entry. Sure, you can have a lot leave and say they don't like it, but you're going to have a lot more that sticks as well. So
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like that's going to be the biggest problem. It's getting people in the door. Like I said, like the critical reception seems to be pretty like decent. It's just that people aren't really looking at it because it's like I'm not going to spend 40 quid on that. And I do wonder. Because I suppose this so with the bit of breaking news that we had, like just before the show went live, is that the Concord Twitter put out one of those little funny squares which had a bit of information about the game. How are we monetizing the game? And they've said, oh, we're not doing battle passes. You just your progression is just all what happens as you level up and you play. There is like a store for microtransactions, but there's no battle pass. And I find this really interesting because since Overwatch launched, Overwatch 1, we went from loot box bad, and then we started scrapping loot boxes, and then everybody started saying loot box good. Like that's preferable, because at least I can learn loot boxes, just from gameplay. So we went from loot box bad to loot box good, and then we went back to all spending bad, game be free, and then we went back to I'd rather pay 40 like full price for it and just have everything in the game like we used to.
yeah.
So I heard people say countless times about like Halo Infinite, for example. I wish I could have just paid full price for Halo and had everything in the game instead of it being like monetized. So I think this is really interesting where players will vote with their wallet, like somewhat, if they really want that. I mean, I guess they have to show interest in the game, but
Mm.
if it reviews well and people still don't buy it, then I think it kind of shows that is not what the market wants, and it's quite like you said before, like, it kind of gives off this pretentious vibe of like, right, so why do you think you can
Yeah.
do this and charge everyone 40 up front?
Mm. It's like a
It's a
spoiled
PlayStation
little
game, bro.
rich kid at the table. I don't know. It just gives me that impression.
I think it will pivot, if not before launch, in the first 2 months after launch, if it doesn't perform well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the game will. Yeah, I think there's a chance it could go free to play, and then they'll just have to do like a whoever bought it, they refund or give a set amount of currency in game so they can buy stuff from the store or fucking whatever. Yeah, I do think that's going to happen, and if that does, I think my prediction of the whole bleeding edge 18 months pretty much dead. No, I think it will last longer than that. I still think the numbers might be quite low, but I don't think it's going to fully die off. But if they don't pivot, I think it's going to fully die off bleeding edge style, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah, the fact that they at this point just committed to not having battle passes gives me pause on going full free to play, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them bundle it in with their like maybe most premium PlayStation tier or maybe extra. Because like what are they going to do? Scramble, make a battle pass system? Like, how are they monetizing this game? Um, you know, and it's
True.
just weird because particularly for multiplayer games, particularly for PvP games, like people have very like skewed perceptions of like what games are failing and what games aren't. Like people always talk about how bad Overwatch 2 is on the Xbox Store. It's number 13.
Mm.
It's in the top 15 most played games on
And
the
it's
whole ecosystem.
popping off on Steam, and it also has its own launcher, which the majority of players probably use as well. So it's got crazy numbers on Steam. Overwatch is an extremely healthy, profitable game. Overwatch 2.
Exactly. Destiny 2, I know there's been a bit of a resurgence because of the DLC, but that's just one behind Overwatch at 14. Forza Horizon 5, the car games that don't count for any Game Award shows because nobody plays them, number 15. Valorant's there at 17. And then even as we start to go down to even some other colossal failure games, Fallout 4, 21. Starfield, 24.
76 on that list,
Uh,
anyway.
I'll keep going down. Halo Infinite, 27. That's I don't know why that's usually it's in like the bottom 10, so that's a bit surprising. Assassin's Creed Valhalla hasn't left the top 50 list since it came out 4 years ago.
It's pretty because it's that long. People are still playing it.
Please.
Yeah. It's got this fucking dad gamer that only gets like 1 hour a day, is still slogging at that game. Like, that balcony's looking sweeter and sweeter every day he boots up Valhalla.
That's funny. Oh yeah, Fallout 76 is one ahead of Fallout 4. There you go, at number 20. So
Yeah.
these are all games that people like core and hardcore gamers like on Twitter and online will say are dead, but they're not. They're like very active and very healthy. So like I let's see how it all plays out.
But then a lot of those are bundled into a Games Pass subscription and or they're
I
free to
suppose,
play
yeah.
already. So yeah, sure, Concord could reach those statuses if, like you said, they pivot, they put it into the subscription, or they just go free to play or whatever. Like you said, not likely to happen with the whole non-battle pass. But yeah, I think it could. I think it could be in those sort of numbers. But I know.
And if it is, I'd consider that a hit. If it gets into the like top 30 on PlayStation and maintains that for like 6 months, I would say they've done pretty well. They're probably happy with that.
Even with the dry
Considering
spell PlayStation's had, they haven't really got much out. So I think just it being in the top 30, they haven't even had 30 games come out in God knows how long.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be
it's just new content.
Like,
they're all gasping.
it depends who you ask with that. Like, a lot of people are really resistant to the idea that PlayStation's had a dry year this year because of essentially a lot of third-party stuff. Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy, Helldivers is published by PlayStation, but
Yeah,
I don't know. There you go. That's a long Concord tangent. I'm more actually fascinated by like the response to this, like as it kind of unfolds, because really if this is a miss, this will be the first PlayStation miss that they've had in like quite a while.
But
Um,
do you
I
count?
couldn't
Do you
really
count
tell you the last
misses that
time.
they never came to fruition, like The Last of Us multiplayer game? Canned. It's a miss, right? They still wasted a
Nah,
lot of money on that.
I
Uh,
guess, but people want that to
um,
happen. Like that's the whole thing around PlayStation. They only release premium things.
Days Gone was
They
kind of a bit
cancel.
of a miss. Um,
Days Gone, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was like low 70s, wasn't it? I mean, yeah,
but
that
I don't
probably
think it
was the last
sold
one.
well. Um,
No,
yeah, probably it. To be fair, I can't
well, I
think of
mean,
that many off the top of my head, but yeah.
a lot of their first party stuff doesn't sell that well. I mean, it sells like reasonably well, but like not well enough to recoup their costs. Like we know that that's been the whole debate, of like they operate on such razor thin profits because they don't get the sales that they need to, even though they're tapping into like the most popular genre with a third person action adventure, and they are high quality as well. So, um, but yeah, like it would be the first time if it doesn't perform very well, even if it does get like critically decent numbers, that it'd be a real miss. And I'm going to be really interested to see how the internet reacts to that. To be honest with you, because boy oh boy, the internet doesn't forget about Xbox's misses. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that.
Mm. Yeah, they really don't.
Um, but I mean, I wish them all the best. Obviously, a PlayStation acquired the studio for this game, so it does concern me a bit what the backup plan here is if it doesn't perform super well. Um, I, I I hope that it does well enough and they get to keep making it. They clearly believe in it, and apparently so did PlayStation when they made the purchase. But we'll see how it all pans out.
Mm.
Mm, okay. All right, let's move into some of the Xbox stories for the week then. So, starting off around Game Pass, we're obviously coming off last week where we had some price hikes, which was the second price hike in the last year, I think. Coming up to the COD launch, Black Ops 6 in October, we found out this week, or I guess it was last week actually, that the beta is going to be it. There's going to be a beta that's going to be available on all platforms, no exclusivity. However, pre-orders and Game Pass subscribers will get early access. So they
Nice.
are leveraging that a little bit, but you can pre-order on any platform and still get access to the early access.
Cool. I'll give it a go. We're Games Pass subscribers. We get to pay it September 4th. I'll be happy to give it a go.
I probably won't.
What? You wouldn't even just try it?
I don't
Download,
know.
couple hours, one
I
night,
don't know.
uninstall.
I'd probably rather just play Valorant, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
just out of
know.
the fact
I
of
mean,
just
maybe.
what will this card feel like is just more my
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, I'm almost certain it's not going to be our cup of tea, and Valorant is just our shooter for the next God knows how long, probably. But I'd still be keen to try it.
I've got to find out what they mean by omni movement. I've got to really
Mm,
understand what that means and how that feels.
exactly. Maybe you'll freaking love it. Maybe you'll think it's the best gameplay mechanic you've ever seen in your life. You're like, this is how I move in real life. They finally replicated it. You'll have that
Yeah.
sparking moment.
Maybe I will start omni moving in real life. Like
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah,
I will start
you're like
running sideways.
yeah, and you're like cooking and like fucking leap across the room while still holding onto your stirring spoon and grab a glass for Beth. Yeah, that's it, mate. It's
Yeah.
omni movement. It's the
It's
future.
like you like Dick, just turn and then sprint. I'm like, no, there's no time to turn. I'm just gonna run backwards
Yeah,
and sideways.
could be
I'm just gonna keep facing this
there could
wall.
be a sniper out that window. I need to keep moving. You never know. He can't hit me if I'm omni
But
moving.
thank God for omni movement. Thank God, honestly.
Oh god. Oh.
Shit. And then obviously, yeah, Modern Warfare 3 is coming to Game Pass. Or came to no, it's coming today as on the day of filming on the 24th of July, which is also really interesting. You know, more than anything else, I think. We're not we may give it Black Ops 6 a go, but we're not like super interested in COD really. I'm more interested, and I'm sure Microsoft shareholders are as well, in how well Game Pass is going to perform. And I'm going to be really interested to see how Modern Warfare 3 like starts performing on Game Pass. It might give us the first indication of that. And usually the most played list takes a couple of days to update, so it's not on the top 50 yet. I wonder if it will be. You know, Black Ops 2 is currently number 48. Black Ops 3 is number like what was
Oh yeah,
that?
because those dropped in, didn't they? Earlier.
39 or something. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Which doesn't surprise
Um,
me because people are probably just playing the Black Ops campaigns again in prep for the new one, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know if they. I don't know. I'm starting to doubt myself now. I don't know if they are actually in Game Pass or if they were just if the servers were just reopened on the older things.
I could have sworn they chucked them into Games Pass. I don't know. Yeah, you're making me doubt myself now. I hate you. Why do you make me doubt myself?
Sorry. Yeah, it's taken a little while to load. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll be really interested to see how that all pans out. And you know, I'm sticking with my guns on like the performance of you know having Black Ops 6 in Game Pass. Like, I'm not really sure it's gonna move the dial really in terms of you know subscribers or anything.
Hmm.
They might get a little bump. I do wonder if it will exceed something like Starfield. I don't know if it will, to be honest. Like, I don't know if there will be like, because they said that they got the most you know subscribers in a single day on Starfield's launch. I don't know if Black Ops 6 tops it, to be honest.
No,
I
I don't
just
think so.
like we've spoken about before. I think the sort of person who wants to play COD like are going to buy the game because that's all they're going to be playing for the next 6 months. So they get their value out of it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Maybe I'm wrong,
agree.
but
I don't think it's going to turn the needle as much as a brand new next gen Bethesda IP, um, like console selling sort of game. Um, but you never know. I don't know. The COD audience seems to surprise me. So, you know, they just keep
mm,
growing. You know, I didn't think it was possible. It's like the COD fan base is like the flood. I swear, they're like comparable to the flood.
what? What, in that they're like a mindless,
Yeah,
like shared
and they
consciousness?
just
That's crazy.
and they just keep they're everywhere. They just keep producing. Those little ticks that run around and nip at your ankles. Each one of those is a COD player. Thousands of them, mate.
Man,
Billions of them.
Nif- nipping at the ankles of the games industry. It's
Yeah.
rough. Actually, I've just noticed. This is really weird. I've just noticed that the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is currently. Oh no! Have they shared it into one launcher? Oh, they have, haven't they? Like you launch Modern Warfare 3 from the Call of Duty launcher now, don't you?
Do you?
I don't. I think so because like at number 2 most played now in the Xbox most played section is Call of Duty. Just Call of Duty. But the artwork is the Black Ops 6 artwork, and obviously people aren't playing Black Ops 6 yet. I thought, oh, maybe it's pre-orders because pre-orders are really high. But it's most played. It's not most like purchased. So
I don't know.
I think it maybe is a launcher.
Yeah, I guess that would be that would be my best guess. But I don't know.
Hmm. Well, fucking no. I fucking no.
I'm not paid to do this shit.
310 gigabytes. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's absurd, isn't it? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Call of Duty HQ supports Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone. So great. So that probably is a reflection of Modern Warfare 3, right? Coming into Game Pass. The fact that this launcher has shot up to number 2. So that's actually pretty big. Hasn't dethroned Fortnite yet, though. Wonder if it will.
Hmm. No.
No, nothing will.
Nothing ever will.
Those poor Fortnite players. If COD players are like the Flood, what are Fortnite players? That's the real question.
That is a good question.
I just kind of feel like Fortnite players are being like harvested. Like they're really their data is and their behavior is being harvested by like big tech.
Yeah.
Because those Fortnite players, like habitual Fortnite players, are the same ones who like go around and can't speak to you normally. Like they can only say a reference to something in Fortnite. Like they have to,
Yeah.
like you ask them a question and they don't say yes or no. They like floss instead, or they do
Yeah.
some other dance,
Or they
or they
end
make
every
reference
sentence
to.
with no cap or something like
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand. And then explaining it to you, they make another like reference that you don't understand. And I just feel like maybe this is some sort of weird like brainwashing. Like I really feel like their hearts are being harvested like slowly, and their brains.
There's something going on, yeah. Their souls are being like siphoned in some way. Like
Some
100%.
way
Yeah.
siphoned into like the next big like pop star that comes up in the game. Like
There's
Ariana
something.
Grande's like absorbing them on
Yeah.
stage.
There's some sort of like Meat Canyon-esque plot going on here.
Scary stuff, man. It's really spooky stuff. Okay, so while we're on the topic of Game Pass, I mentioned earlier that Stephen Totillo from GameFile had recently wrote like a little article about Game Pass, and I just wanted to like bring this up here. But it's particularly concerning the lineup we've had in the last month, and the bad news in terms of the price hikes as well. For a lot of people, it's caused a lot of debate around like the value of Game Pass, and we've discussed that last week as well in the last episode, which you can go back and watch if you'd like to. So I'm just going to read the headline. Microsoft's Game Pass price hikes 2 weeks ago prompted questions of whether Microsoft produces enough big games to justify the price. Game Pass Game Pass's lineup of the past week prompts a less discussed aspect of Game Pass. It's curated by people with excellent taste. And I just think that is like a really nice way to put how the service has been shaping up over the last few years. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, I think that's I would kind of agree with how that's been phrased, because yeah, I think that in terms of what Games Pass has become from what it was, I feel like Games Pass was definitely, when it dropped, it was immediately just like value. This is it. This is, you just get this sort of stuff, and this is barely any money, £1, you know. And now I feel like it's shifting more into delivering actually some real quality stuff, and dropping in things you wouldn't expect to be dropped in there, both third party and obviously first party stuff dropping in. And I think we said it as well. As much as the price hikes sure are negative, no one likes things going up in price. I think they are justified and predicted with just the direction Games Pass is heading in. I feel like Games Pass offers so much from any genre you could possibly think of that you're into. There is something for you to get your value out of. And with the remote play and the cloud play, which I use so much more now as well, I'm actually seeing a lot more value in that. There's just a lot here, and I do think it's become quite a sophisticated subscription service now, which is worth the money. Yeah.
And I think they do such a good job. I can't remember. I was listening to someone. So I can't give full credit, but it's so basically what they said was they do such a good job with the cadence, and like they have like a mini hype cycle around all the releases. They have one at the beginning of the month where they tell you about the first half, and then halfway through the month they tell you about the
Yeah, I
second half,
like
and that's
that.
like a
Yeah,
really nice cadence every 2 weeks of like this is what you got coming up, and then
keeps you on the
sometimes
hook.
you even get a surprise drop. Yeah, sometimes you even get something surprising. Like by the way, Modern Warfare 3 is coming. We didn't have that on either of them. You just get that, which I think arguably they could leverage more, but it may be more of a logistics thing of like it just comes out when it's lined up. But it's like really nice, and I don't see that happening as often on the Nintendo or the PlayStation platforms. PlayStation do a little announcement, I think maybe once a month, but they
Mm.
don't have as many additions, and it's definitely not as well cadenced as they are over on Game Pass.
Yeah. No, yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I really like the way they do the announcements. Yeah, one at the beginning half of the month and one at the latter half of the month. Because I actually find I I genuinely like Google like what's coming up on Games Pass, and I figure out I'm like, oh, okay, so this is the first couple for this month, and then oh, okay, wow, like yeah, Path of the Goddess is dropping in the first half, and then you've got yeah, I don't know, along with like Flintlock. We haven't really talked about that actually. That didn't do too hot, but um, yeah. So yeah, I completely agree. It keeps people on the hook and it keeps people just interested, which I think naturally is just going to help people keep rolling over that month. As they just go to see what's coming up next, and keep that
Hmm.
subscription going. Yeah, I think it's quite smart.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes it feel like a subscription. I know that sounds really weird, but it makes it feel like here are your things for this month. Here are your things for this month. Rather than just stuff appearing like kind of randomly.
Mm,
Um,
definitely.
is this working?
What are you doing? Yeah, but it's push you because I'm capping you in a certain way. So yes, where you are, if I click to watch stream, you're now not on the stream, but I could watch what's going
That's
on
fine.
your screen. Okay, so what am I doing? All
Great.
right.
That's
Oh no, hang
nothing.
on.
I just wanted to show. I just wanted to show this banner here.
Yeah, it's not really working
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
because it
I
went
will.
it went really big when I clicked it. So sorry.
I just thought, guys, just swing and a miss, and clearly it was a miss.
Yeah.
Basically, Xbox like did their, they did a Game Pass trailer, which they do like every now and again, just to like hype up what's in the platform and what's coming up. And in the most recent trailer, like the thumbnail that they used for that trailer was like Diablo 4, Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Indiana Jones, Hellblade 2, and it's like it just like such a like cracking like lineup really, and like the thumbnail is like I know all of those characters other than the Black Ops 6 dude who's just a man with a beanie and a ruler
Yeah.
over his face because it's really spooky and I'm not
Mm,
meant to know and confidential. But I think it just really gives a really good impression of like, oh wow, like look at the not just the variety, but look at the money in this. Like Jesus
mm.
Christ, Harrison Ford is on this, and Lilith and Soap McTavish and Senua.
It's pretty crazy, and
Yeah,
you could even swap like some of those out. When new releases, obviously you keep like the ones obviously still going strong, but like you get rid of Soap there and just fucking whack on Marcus Phoenix with that new Gears game that
yeah,
comes out next year, and it's just like
yeah,
the you get even harder, you get even stiffer.
yeah. Or someone from Avowed, right? Or a
Yeah,
plane.
I was thinking about a plane. I was thinking about, but then Avowed's not.
It's not
Uh,
quite as big, yeah.
yeah, it's not quite as iconic, and plus it's like create your own character sort of sim, so it's kind of hard to
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
the protagonist. But yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Great. Well, we'll move on to kind of our last stories then, which concern GeForce Now becoming available on Xbox web pages. I know that sounds really weird, but just to be clear, like
Mm,
if you go online now and go on Xbox.com and you log in and you click on the game, if you go to stream the game, which of course you can stream on your PC in the same way that you can stream, on your phone or any of your devices, you'll be given the option if you want to stream on xCloud or on GeForce Now. For those who don't know, GeForce Now is NVIDIA's cloud service, um, and you can play games through there. And you can play games on other platforms through there. So you can like play Steam games, for example, through there. And Xbox have put some of their games onto GeForce Now already, which I think is what makes this a really like weird and interesting move. Like particularly if we're going to assume that this integration is going to deepen over the next couple of months, will, for example, you be able to stream GeForce Now games directly onto your Xbox console?
Mm.
It certainly seems to be the direction Xbox is going, and it certainly opens, like, it moves us slowly towards the idea that Xbox wants their consoles to be a place where you can have lots of different storefronts. Yeah, what did you think? Did you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite a small thing now, but yeah, like you said, I think the implications could be quite big in the future for something like
Mm.
this. I'm interested to see how it works in the sense of like, for example, so it won't work if I'm booting them through like the Xbox app, for example. So if I'm on my Surface Pro and I've got my Xbox app that I'm opening up and I'm going select my cloud games and stuff like that, do I get the option to do GeForce Now through there?
No, you won't get that right now.
Okay, so it's only if I went to xbox.com, signed in, and then clicked on games through there.
Yeah, right now that's the case, and I don't even think they've officially announced it. It's just started showing up, so I think
Hmm.
you can probably assume that's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, it could be massive in the future in the sense of if a full partnership comes of this with GeForce Now, and yeah, you could literally just there's a GeForce Now app on your Xbox that you boot up, and then you have their library of games to boot and play from a cloud on your Xbox from their cloud service. So you could just go play fucking God of War or something like that, you know. Um, Kind of crazy to think, but then I still don't know how it's going to work in terms of like, would there still be some sort of licensing implications that even if that does happen, Sony will just be like, no, it's just not happening. People
And they've
cannot,
already done that. If we
yeah.
Yeah, if we're just talking about PlayStation games, yeah, there were for a while, for a bit, there were some PlayStation games on GeForce Now, but there were some. I think Nvidia were just like pinching and like putting games on the service, and PlayStation were like, no, we're not okay with that. We need to be paid,
Mm,
because it was going through Steam, and so they did delist them. And I don't think there are currently none. I did have a look, and there are currently no PlayStation games on GeForce Now, and you said you wouldn't be able to access any of them on that store. And to be honest, having a look at the games, a lot of it is a kind of a like there aren't that many games on there that aren't already on Game Pass or that aren't playable on Xbox.
mm. But what about,
There's definitely
yeah.
some.
Mm. I'm just trying to think of like popular PC games right now that might be on there, but um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of any right now, but yeah, okay.
You can connect to Steam, Epic Games, Ubisoft, plus presumably EA, Vault, presumably, and GOG, as well as Xbox, obviously, through GeForce Now. But those publishers decide what games go on to GeForce Now. And as it stands right now, PlayStation aren't part of that agreement. They've said no, we don't want our ones on Steam going onto there, which is kind of weird if you think about it. I do wonder if that will change, because that's free money. That is free money to Sony, unless they plan on doing their own cloud streaming.
Yeah, but they're
Um,
weird, aren't they? They really don't like lending their stuff. They really don't like sharing their toys, Sony, like in any way.
no, they don't. Just like Nintendo, yeah.
A little bit, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I've said that, and then I've realized that they did start doing some cloud streaming at some point at the end of last year, but I can't remember exactly how it works or the specifics of it. It all gets a bit confusing. This is the problem, because a lot of people are going for the same piece of the pie right now with it. Um, what is it? PlayStation Plus. Today we have more details to share about PS5 cloud streaming for PlayStation Plus premium members. So in the same way that it's locked to
Okay,
Ultimate for
yeah,
Xbox,
Ultimate, yeah.
we will be, we will begin launching cloud streaming access for supported PS5 digital titles with the PlayStation Plus game catalog and game trials. as well as supported titles in the PS5 game library that PlayStation Plus Premium members own. Okay. So they do have some cloud streaming, but it's for selected games.
Yes.
So there you go. So and I think this is actually the second part of the kind of equation that I think is really interesting, of like if Xbox are okay with this, and further, if for next gen, let's say they are wanting their console to become more open to other storefronts, how does this work in terms of like money? Like, why are they allowing other streaming services onto their platform? Like, is this not costing them money? Like, is this not going to cannibalize? Like, are people going to opt out of Game Pass Ultimate because they see how good GeForce Now is?
Mm.
Um, you know, like, could it cannibalize their own sales? Unlike, because like I don't think anybody's going to buy an Xbox. Like hypothetically, if it ends up on the console, I don't think anybody's going to buy an Xbox so that they can access GeForce Now through their Xbox, right? I don't think that's because the whole
Mm.
point of streaming is that you can do it without an upfront cost. I thought. So
Yeah.
I am very curious on the behind the scenes strategy and the number crunching that's going on here.
I guess it just gives people that additional option, right? That you can play some Steam games and some PC games from your Xbox too. So it's something to just factor in as well. Like when someone's going to buy an Xbox, they could be like, "Oh yeah, I'm buying an Xbox because of Games Pass and this is coming out and I want to play the Gears next year and also this is cool like GeForce Now so I can actually still play some of the PC games I quite like on Steam, Maybe it's just that's kind of what they're going for, but you are right. I mean, GeForce Now and Games Pass, one and XCloud and stuff like that are, in a sense, kind of direct competitors that are kind of making friend. So it is a bit weird.
Hmm.
I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah,
But
I mean, maybe they will negotiate a deal for it,
a
but I guess the
parlay.
difference here is, yeah, I mean, I guess the difference here is that GeForce Now doesn't work in the same way as like Game Pass does, in that it doesn't automatically entitle you to games. It allows you to access storefronts through its service, so you have to own the games on Steam to then be able to stream them
Yeah.
um, through GeForce Now. You have to, just looking at the list, you have to be able to own Ubisoft Connect to then be able to stream the game, or own the games in Ubisoft Connect to be
Hmm.
able to then stream them. For
Yeah,
example,
you're
same and
essentially
same with
booting
Xbox.
into a virtual machine. Yeah. Um, so yeah, but it means like people can like I don't know, they can play things like what's that really popular one at the moment? Um the kind of party s game when you're like going in and you're like miners or whatever, or like and you're going in
Miners.
not miners, but like
It's not a Japanese game, is it?
no, and you're like oh I see what you did there. Um
Thanks.
and you're what is it called? It's like a horror game. It's kind of horror-esque.
Oh, well, there's like a monster. There's like a monster, right?
No, it's fucking it's really popular. I forgot what it is.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's kind of been and gone now, isn't it? I didn't. This is still going.
Yeah, it's still kind of going a little bit, yeah. Um I don't know.
Somebody
I
is
can't
listening to
fucking
the
find it.
show screaming.
Yeah.
It's just two words, isn't it? Lethal Company. There we go.
Lethal Company, you got it. Yeah. And just stuff like that, I guess. I guess it opens up to other storefronts as well for things like World of Warcraft, Dota, all those kind of games, right? League of Legends, if you for whatever reason wanted to play that GeForce Now on your Xbox. Yeah, games like that,
Um,
right?
yeah, I think you can access Dota. I don't think you can go through the Blizzard launcher right now.
Okay.
No. But yeah. I mean, that's the idea. Does make me wonder. It does continue to make me think. Like, what are you little tinkers up to in the background over there? especially thinking about, the previous statements they gave out at the beginning of this year when the whole multi-platform thing was going on, and they were like, "Oh, we're going to have the biggest technical leap we've ever seen." And I don't think they're talking about like power. Like, I don't think that's what they're talking about there. I think it's because they're going to do something like quite radically different. And as we've said on the show before, like the speculation is, other storefronts on the console.
Mm.
So, but they won't tell us. They won't tell us what we're doing, so we just have to keep guessing and put pieces of the puzzle together. For example, another streaming service on their web page, just like out of nowhere.
Mm. It's like a little Easter egg hunt, isn't it?
It's what it feels like at times. Yeah.
It's fun though. I like it.
Yeah, it's so fun. Definitely. And then I guess the final thing here is just a bit of an addendum to that, which is I think it came from Windows Central originally, that a Game Pass, they're considering a Game Pass cloud only tier, which absolutely should have already happened, especially with like the Fire Stick stuff going on and putting, Game Pass on TVs and everything. Like, there should be a cheap, maybe £8 a month subscription so you can just like get in and try that. It's
I'd like that.
ridiculous that it's locked behind the most expensive subscription to, like, that must be like, they must have already done a lot of damage, to be honest. Like, a lot of people might have even seen it on their TVs or whatever and clicked on it and be like, 20, are you joking? Or like £20, like £12 or £14 a month, which is like not, super cheap for a subscription, and said no way. And that's kind of like irreparable damage, like, to a lot of people.
Mm.
No.
Yeah, no, I think it makes complete sense especially if you're going to branch out and go on to more smart TVs in the future and stuff like that, and just be ingrained everywhere. They've said that they want Xbox to be in every home, right? And they probably didn't mean it in the sense of the console. They probably just meant it in the sense of being able to boot it from so many different things. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer to have this cheap barrier to entry, so someone can just pay £6 a month, £7 a month, and try out all these cool games on their smart TV or their Fire Stick, because whoever owns a fucking Fire Stick in 2024 or 2025. Yeah, I 100% think this should be a thing, and I think it should, like you said, have already been done or needs to be done very quickly. I don't think it's something they should sit on for a while, the idea of this.
It seems wise. We don't know if they'll follow through with it entirely, because they've talked about and even tested, Game Pass tiers before, like with the family plan, and that just doesn't seem to have come to fruition. This I'm not surprised that they're trialing this or considering it. I would be a little bit surprised if they go through it, even though it makes sense strategically, simply because, we heard during the court cases and everything, like, how poorly their cloud was performing. Like, clearly they're still wanting to go for it, like with the partnerships with Amazon, and maybe they were underrepresenting the performance during the court cases, perfectly possible. But clearly they're still wanting to give it another crack, and this, if they do want to, like, they need to have something like this in place. So maybe this is just, the next step, and just trying to get more people in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, Joaquin's just joined the chat. Yeah, we're live today, Joaquin, because we've got I've got plans tomorrow, so we had to go a day early. And yes, we have talked about Concord. You're gonna have to go watch that. we spent about half an hour on that. You missed it, so you have to go back and watch that. And apparently he said you sound a bit low, but I haven't changed any settings. But hopefully he's not insanely low.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sorry we missed you. You've kind of joined just at the end of the show here.
Yeah, we're
but
wrapping up.
By all means, feel free to shout at me in the DMs, as per usual. All right. Yeah, we'll pull it together then. This has been fun. I have been tired. There is no denying it. I'm even more tired now than what I was at the beginning. I think that's how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time goes forward. Tired gets higher.
Sounds like you're ready for some ranked Valorant. Let's go. Okay. I'm probably going to play some Path of the Goddess after this, to be honest.
Yes, being the Game Pass shill that you are, that we all are. You know.
I don't play anything if it's not Games Pass. It's like my new personality trait. I put it on my LinkedIn. Avid user of Game Pass.
Savant.
Yeah.
Game Pass aficionado.
I tell you what, the people are headhunting me like crazy ever since I added that to my Frag Punk. Wacky
Like Assassins, or
well, actually, yeah. When is Frag Punk coming out? When is that?
I don't know. I don't know if
I feel like it's like October. I thought or something.
I don't know. In my head, it
up?
didn't have a release date, but maybe it is.
Yeah, it might not. It's not Games Pass though. Wacky, so pipe down.
Yeah, it's a bit pointless then, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't jingle because you were low, but yeah, that's us done, guys. So thanks for tuning in, whoever listened, and have a fantastic week, everyone.
Hope you have a great week. We'll see you. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye bye. Sorry you caught us right at the end, Joaquin.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.